Okay, just continuing on with the chain rule. When we have fractional, like square roots, and we need to write it as a fraction. So this is like the square root, so that's a 2 there, and that's a power of 1. And if we remember this, that the nth root of x to the m is x to the m on n. Okay, so the root is n, and the n will be on the bottom. So remember the thing at the door will be on the floor. And that's a good way of remembering where it is. So this will be 2x plus 3 to the power of, on the floor will be the 2. What's on top stays on top. So what's on top, which is, see if you look at this, what's on top is the, is the m, and the m stays on top. So what's on top stays on top. Stays on top. So in this case, the 1 stays on the top. It's already on the top. Okay, so then when you differentiate it or find the gradient function, bring the half down, and it's really important to put the 1 on top and the 2 on the bottom, times 2x plus 3, and we have that to the half, and we go minus 1, and then times the derivative of what's inside. So the derivative of 2x plus 3, the 2x will go to 2, and the 3 will go to 0, so it's just times 2. So then you just times the numbers. So you do the numbers that are, and you group those together. So you go a half times 2. See, a half times 2 on 1 would be 2 on 2, which is 1. So the 2's cancel and give you 1. So that means you're going to have 2x plus 3. Now, a half minus 1 is minus a half. So you could leave that like that, but you could also bring it down to the bottom because it's got a negative. So that would be 2x plus 3 to the half. And then you can just square root it, 2x plus 3. Okay, so just looking at the next two. All right, so look at this one here. First of all, we have to put it into index form. So it's 2x squared minus 4x, and it's the square root of x squared minus 4x to the power of 1. You put that to the minus a half because you bring it up to the top. Okay, I'll just do that step by step. So it's 2x, x squared minus 4x. So it's square root, so the 2 goes on the bottom and the 1 goes on top, because what's at the floor, what's at the door ends up on the floor, and what's on top, which is the 1, what's on top stays on top. Okay, so continuing with that now, I need to now move it up to the top. So it's going to be 2 to the x squared minus 4x, and it becomes a negative when you move it up to the top. So it'll be negative a half. Okay, so now when I differentiate, it's 2 times minus a half, x squared minus 4x, and that will be to the power of, just make it a little bit bigger, that'll be the power of minus a half minus 1. And then you've just got to multiply by the derivative of what's inside. So what is inside? X squared minus 4x. When you differentiate that, that would be 2x minus 4. Now, because there are two terms, you should put brackets around those two terms. So it's 2x minus 4. So 2 times minus a half, so 2 on 1 times minus half is minus 1. X squared minus 4x minus a half minus 1 is minus. So a half minus 1 is minus 1.5, and you really should write it as an improper fraction. 1 times 2 is 2 plus 1 is 3. So it's minus 3 on 2, and then it's 2x minus 4. So you could leave it like that, but it's probably good practice. Let's move this one out to the front, and the other one, let's move it down to the bottom. So it'll end up being 2x minus 4 on top, and down the bottom, because it is a, if you look at that, that is a negative indice. You move it down the bottom, and it'll be x squared minus 4x, and you'll do that to the 3 on 2. And then I could leave that like that, or I could go, that's minus 2x plus 4, and then I'm going to square root it. You don't need the 2 there, you could just leave a square root. X squared minus 4x, because at the floor is at the door, and the 3 is on top, that's why what's on top stays on top. So there the 3 ends up here, and the 2 will end up in the front here, but you don't actually need to write it with the square root, so you can rub it out. Okay, so let's look at this one here and focus on this one. So first of all, you've got to get it into the right form. So you move it up to the top. So y is equal to 4. Now, let's just get it into index form first. So 4's on the top, 3 is the root, because at the door is on the floor, and what's on top? Oh, just lost the size of it. What's on top there stays on top. Okay, so now what you need to do is you need to move that up to the top. So y is 4, 2x plus 1 to the minus 4 on 3. Okay, so now differentiating this. So we go 4, get the indice, okay, and bring it down to the front. So that will be minus 4 on 3, 2x plus 1 to the minus 4 on 3 minus 1. And then you multiply by the derivative of what's inside the bracket. So inside the bracket would be 2x plus 1. So that would be times 2, because 2x goes to 2 and the 1 will go to 0. Now just be wary that what's on the top there, the 2 and the 4 are like 4 on 1 and 2 on 1. So when you're multiplying this, I mean, you could just simply get your calculator and do it. Or without a calculator, what you're really doing is you're multiplying the top numbers and then multiplying the bottoms. And anything that will cancel on the top with the bottom, you could do so. There's nothing that cancels here. 4 4s are 16, 2 16s are minus 32, and then 1 3 is 3 times 1 is 3, and then that's 2x plus 1 to the minus. Now, just look at that, minus 4 on 3 minus 1. Okay, so if we've got minus 4 on 3, 1, so what have we got there? Minus 4 on 3 minus 1. You could put that into your calculator, but make sure you put it as an improper. I'm just going to get a common denominator here. Minus 4 minus 3. And then minus 4 will be, minus 3 is minus 7, so it's minus 7 on 3. So now writing it nicer, it's minus 32 on 3, 2x plus 1 to the 7 on 3. And then I'm just going to write it into root form, because I know that gives me better practice. It's better, like you don't have to, it is still differentiated, but it actually makes it a lot easier, and it's better practice just to do it. If you have to solve higher order equations, just to be able to slip it back into that form. Now, when I did that, you notice that the 3 went to the front because it's on the floor, and the 7 went as the power because it's on top. What's on top stays on top.